Here are 9 reasons why your beats might suck. Quick disclaimer, this video is not meant to discourage you in any way. The aim of this video is to point out general flaws that beginner producers make when starting out, so by any means do not take this as an attack on your persona, but rather as constructive criticism. So I'm gonna divide this video into 3 main sections, which are beginner, intermediate, and advanced, each containing 3 tips for improving your production. And starting off at number 1 is using the default file preset for your mixer that comes pre-installed when you first open up FL Studio. So what this means is that when you load a new project file, a number of changes apply as a preset without you even knowing. Here's how to change this. Head over to File, New from Template, then change default template, then scroll down until you see default template and select Empty. Then right underneath, select empty project. This eliminates the preloaded sounds in your channel rack as well as the limiter placed on your master, which is a huge reason why your kicks and 808s don't hit as you want them to. Next up at number 2 we have not using a soft clipper on your master. If you don't know what a soft clipper is, it's a plugin that assigns a limit to the maximum volume of a mixer insert, which is usually the master. Then if any sounds gets over that specific limit, it gets compressed into the rest of the waveform, which is commonly known as clipping. Keep in mind this is only a brief explanation just so you can better understand how this works. There are 2 main parameters in the default soft clipper, which are threshold and post gain. The best way I can explain how these 2 work without going into too much detail is that the post gain controls the volume limit and the threshold controls how much of the sound that exceeds that limit gets compressed back into the main waveform. Tip number 3 is not removing the low ends on the samples that you use. So regardless if you make your samples yourself or you use samples from another source, it's most likely that it has some low end frequencies that interact with the 808s and kicks, which is known as mudding. Here's what a muddy mix sounds like. And this is what a clean mix sounds like. Notice how in the second one, everything can be heard way better and doesn't sound cramped up. To get rid of this mudding, simply route your sample or melody to a new mixer insert, then apply an EQ to it. I recommend the default parametric EQ2 if you're a beginner, as it's easier to understand and the interface is friendlier. Then right click on this arrow right here and select 40Hz cut. Then drag the slider slowly to the right until all the bass in the sample is gone. Keep in mind that the more you drag this, the more the mid frequencies will be cut, which might make your sample sound low quality, but just for reference, this should be enough to get you a decent mix. Now up next to the intermediate tips. At number 4 is not EQing your kicks to fit in with your 808s. So as you might have noticed, the kicks on the big industry beats sound very clean when layered with the rest of the drums, and this is in part because of EQing out the mid and low end sections of the frequencies of the kick so that they don't overlap with the ones from the 808 or bass. To do this, assign your kick to a new mixer insert, add an EQ, then cut out the lows about halfway, then duck the mids until it sounds right. This is just a rule of thumb, but this can be applied to almost every beat that is bass heavy. Next up at number 5 is not timing your samples with your drums. So after you match the sample to the BPM you're working in, you might still notice a slight discrepancy between the drums and the main melody. This is mostly due to the time added at the beginning of each sample when exporting it as an audio file. To fix this, zoom into the beginning of your sample, then hold shift, and while hovering your cursor over the waveform in the playlist, use the scroll wheel to adjust the fine positioning until it's in sync with your drums. Number 6 is cutting your samples wrong. So when cutting a waveform in the playlist, if you have the stretch audio and resizing audio clips option disabled, this will happen. To fix this, simply enable this option and try cutting your waveform again. This one was an easy fix, but it's crucial to get this right. At number 7, we have not using the cut itself option in your 808s. What this option does is that when a new note is played, the one being played previously will be stopped. This will save your beat from a lot of mudding. Now for the advanced tips, these are going to be more creatively oriented rather than just correcting mistakes. And at number 8, we have not using other plugins. So this is just a tip that can make you progress in your overall sound quality. Using stock plugins gets old real quick. There are plenty of crucial third-party plugins that you can get that will not only make your workflow faster, but will also give you a general sense of what FL Studio is really capable of. If you want to start using other plugins but don't know where to start, you can check out my other video in which I cover some great beginner and advanced plugins that will boost your productivity, in which, by the way, the link for the video is in the description. And as the final tip, at number 9 is not experimenting with new genres. So you might be oriented towards producing a style of music that you like, which is not only normal but it's ideal, but sometimes taking a break from what you normally do and making something new will open up new horizons to experiment with. Trust me, this will help you with your mixing, your creativity, your workflow, and everything else really, so I advise you give it a chance. And this concludes your video. If you like my content, please drop a like and comment to boost the algorithm, and let me know what you'd want to see in future videos, and until next time, peace.